The sun beat down on the dusty road, mirroring the heat in the younger son's heart. He stood before his father, a callow youth, barely a man, and demanded his inheritance. It felt like a victory, a declaration of independence from the stifling routine of the farm. He saw only freedom, not the responsibility that came with it. His father, a man weathered by years of toil and wisdom, looked at him with a sadness that pierced the young man's bravado. He knew the folly of his son's request, the dangers that lay ahead, but he also knew that love sometimes meant letting go. He divided his property between his two sons, a quiet act of grief and acceptance. The younger son wasted no time. He gathered his belongings, sold his share of the land, and set off for a distant country. He arrived with a purse overflowing with coins and a heart brimming with ambition. He found himself surrounded by new friends, eager to share in his newfound wealth. Parties were thrown, wine flowed freely, and laughter echoed through the night. He lived a life of reckless abandon, indulging in every pleasure that money could buy. For a while it was glorious. He was the center of attention, the life of the party. But as the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, his fortune began to dwindle. The friends who had flocked to him like moths to a flame began to disappear, their smiles replaced with thinly veiled disdain. The wine stopped flowing, the laughter faded, and the music died. Then came the famine. A severe drought gripped the land, and the once bustling city became a place of desperation and hunger. The younger son, stripped of his wealth and his friends, found himself alone and destitute. He was forced to take a job feeding pigs, a task considered unclean and degrading by his people. He envied the pigs their food, the husks they devoured with gust. His stomach gnawed with hunger, a constant reminder of his foolishness. He was a son of a wealthy man, yet he was starving in a foreign land, reduced to the level of an animal. One day as he slopped the pigs, a memory flickered in his mind. He remembered the abundance of his father's house, the servants who ate their fill, the warmth of the hearth. He remembered his father's kind eyes, the gentle strength in his hands. A wave of shame washed over him, followed by a glimmer of hope. He realized the enormity of his sin, his disrespect, his ingratitude, but he also remembered his father's love, a love that had always been there, even when he had turned his back on it. How many of my father's hired servants have food to spare? And here I am starving to death, he thought. I will set out and go back to my father and say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants. He rose his legs, weak and trembling, and began the long journey home. Each step was a penance, a testament to his repentance. He imagined his father's reaction, the disappointment in his eyes. He rehearsed his speech, his plea for forgiveness. As he neared his father's house, he saw a figure in the distance standing by the road. It was his father, his eyes scanning the horizon. And as the father recognized his son, a son he had long given up hope of seeing again, he was filled with compassion. He didn't wait for his son to reach him. He ran his old legs, carrying him with surprising speed. He embraced his son, burying his face in his ragged clothes, and wept. The son, overwhelmed by his father's love, began his rehearsed speech. Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. But his father cut him off quick. Bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found.